Today I'm going to tie a super simple midge pattern, a pattern that's been a mainstay in my box for a couple of years, probably even longer. As I said, it's super simple, works great in lake fishing for Arctic char, for example, and in the rivers as well, of course. As you might be aware of, we don't have any mosquitos in Iceland. Hardly any mayflies either, but we do have midges, and we have a lot of them. So I've placed the hook in the vise. This is the FW 541 from Ahrex. It's called the curved nymph barbless. And I've placed a Gunsmoke bead. This is actually a tungsten bead. The size is 2.8 millimeters. The hook is size 14, but you can play around with the sizes. I'd go down to 18 even in some cases. So I'm going to be tying this pattern with the Nano silk from SemperFli. Usually for nymphs and dry flies, I like to go with the classic waxed thread. The Nano silk is fine. I really like it for streamers and stuff like that, but in this case I'm using it because I want the underbody to be to show through, basically. So as I said, this is a super simple pattern, basically 3 ingredients. We're going to do a ribbing made out of FlexiFloss or Spanflex. This is available from a lot of companies. It's basically just a rubber band. And this will be our ribbing for this pattern. Now what I like to do is I like to secure the Spanflex just behind the bead. And then I'll follow down the hook shank and I'll stretch the FlexiFloss as hard as I can, because I want the body, the profile of the fly to be quite slim. Keep the tension until you reach the bead again, just to minimize the chances that the whole thing will snap back at you. So when I reach the bead, I like to spin the thread to have it lay it as flat as I can. And then build a little bit of base. This is mainly just to make sure that it shows through a bit. All right, we're gonna do open spiraling wraps. We're not gonna do touching turns, because we're using this not as a body material, but as a ribbing. Don't let go until you've secured it completely. There you go. So for the collar, or the thorax, if you will, I'm going to do a dubbing mix. I'm using black snowshoe rabbit foot, and also white, or natural, if you will. Mixing it together, I think we're about 3/4 black and 1/4 and a quarter white, something like that. I'm going to split the thread. I want the dubbing to be wild, a little bit lively. And if we split the thread and do touching, like touch dubbing, we'll get a better result, in my opinion. We're not going to use a lot of it, just a couple of pinches. Place it inside the thread. and close the thread around it. Before we do anything, we're gonna spin the bobbin. Give it a few taps if you need to. It'll get rid of the fibers that are completely loose. We don't need those. Tight wraps just behind the bead. There you go. Before tying off, just a little bit of Zap-A-Gap or head cement, super glue. Just something that'll hold the whole thing together. Okay, now the thorax or the collar. This is a bit too much material for my liking, at least. And when that happens, you just take your fingernails or tweezers or anything, just tweeze out the longer hairs. Gives you something like this. So, a super simple midge pattern, takes 2 minutes to tie. Is it an exact imitation? No. Will it fool the fish? Probably. So, good to have in your box. Thanks for watching.